What is up, fight fans? Welcome to episode 223 of the Fight Library. I'm your host, Blaine Henry, and today we're talking the title fight from UFC 270. The pay-per-views are back, baby. First one in 2022. It's going to be fantastic. Before we get into this episode, please drop a sub, follow, review, 5 stars, whatever you're listening on, because I'm on a million platforms. Just help me game the algorithm. If you want to get at me and say, nice or mean things at me, get at me on Twitter. Blaine Henry TFL, the Fight Library everywhere else. And yeah, if you want to support the podcast even more, Patreon, $5 a month, you'll get access to exclusive content every Monday. And I have Ciryl Gane article up there talking about his strike speed variability, rhythm breaking, and much more. All right, enough plugs. Let's go ahead and talk UFC 270. First pay-per-view back, Anaheim, California, finally not Las Vegas. Francis Ngannou versus Ciryl Gane. Is this the best heavyweight fight in history? Probably. So, we've got the heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou, has the belt, just got done knocking out Stipe after going on a tear. I mean, the dude, he lost his fight to Stipe and then Derek Lewis in 2018, but then he beat Curtis Blaydes, Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, and then come back and capture the title with Stipe Miocic. Ciryl Gane, on the other hand, has had a different sort of rise. He's a kickboxer, came in from Glory after fighting in TKO a couple times. He beat Rafael Pasola by arm triangle. What? He's a kickboxer. Then he beat Don'Tale Mayes by heel hook. Tanner Boser by decision. Now, that's a really good loss for Tanner Boser. He went the distance with him when other guys couldn't. Knocked out Junior Dos Santos. Decision over Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Decision over Volkov. Knocked out Derek Lewis to win the interim title. Now we get to see who the best heavyweight in the world is, and my money is on Ciryl Gane. Okay, so I talked about this in the aforementioned Patreon post about Ciryl Gane with his strike speed variability and how he mixes things up, right? So what I find interesting about Ciryl Gane is how he's just creative with his strikes, right? So he'll touch Derek. In the Derek Lewis fight, we saw him touch his leg, we touch his leg, we touch his leg, and then wham, hit it hard. I'm talking like went in and slammed him with the leg kick. And that's where the real damage is caused, especially if you're going to be like Francis Ngannou, who steps out with the jab now. He's gained rudimentary striking. Bravo. He's gained rudimentary striking, and he's gotten better. But is he better than Ciryl Gane, who's been kickboxing his whole life? Muay Thai fighter? No, he's not, okay? I can answer that right now. And Rafael Ramigo on Twitter, shout out Rafael, what's up, bro? Rafael Ramigo on Twitter, me and him were chatting in the DMs about it, and it's the mix-up of strike speed and the strikes in general that Ciryl Gane brings to the table that's really going to fluster Francis Ngannou, right? So when I say the immaturity of Francis's striking, I don't mean like he's immature like Teofimo Lopez on Patreon, like I talked about, and how his immaturity caused him to lose his 3 titles or his 4 titles or whatever it was. I'm talking about the lack of it evolving, okay? So Ciryl Gane has been there. He's changed. He's got his style. Francis just learned to jab after losing to Stipe Miocic in 2018. It's a good fight, though. You've got it's the classic brawler versus boxer matchup, if you want. It's a tale old as boxing. I mean, Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. It's basically this. Except for Francis, it's like a little more technical than George Foreman was. George Foreman wasn't technical at all. Then he got technical after he come back, and it was crazy to see because like in that fight, I'm gonna talk about George Foreman for a second here. Let's go on a tangent. In that fight, George Foreman he destroyed Joe Frazier and Ken Norton. Two guys that gave Muhammad Ali losses, right? Ali comes in after the war. He's not the same. Comes in and he decides, I'm going to fight smart. And Ali does. He fights smart. Every fight he fights smart. Smart as he can. Regardless, Muhammad Ali went in and just did his thing against George Foreman. Like, it was incredible. If you haven't watched that fight, it's one to go back and watch, because you go watch like 2 or 3 of George Foreman's fights before Ali. Watch the Joe Frazier one where he leaves him dead. It's terrifying. And Francis, ahead of the second Miocic fight, when he was just Francis the Mauler, ahead of that, he was basically that. Now he's improved more. He's got a jab, and he can stop a takedown. This is a different sport, but I mean, I can't put my money. I did this last week, and I took my L. I took a bath on this one. Talking about Giga, I can't see Calvin Kattar beating Giga Chikadze, and lo and behold, he does. Francis has the great equalizer. He will knock you out. It's beautiful. He's got a beautiful knockout. But at the same time, I just like Ciryl Gane. I think he is the guy. And I think he beats Stipe. I think he beats John Jones. He said he wants John Jones next. Let's do that. I mean, if John Jones doesn't want ridiculous money. All right, so let's move on down the card. Brandon Moreno versus Deiveson Figueiredo 3. This is the third time these two guys fought. And it's back-to-back-to-back fights. The first time in history I just saw on Twitter. So that's pretty interesting. Moreno, the boxer with great jiu-jitsu. Deiveson Figueiredo is basically the Wario of Mighty Mouse. Dude fights like a maniac. So 19-5-2 for Moreno, 22-1 for Figueiredo. 20 wins, 2 losses. Moreno and Jussier Formiga. If you look at his run-up, Figueiredo, that is, he's got some good wins. He lost to Formiga, right? He's been in the UFC since UFC 212. He beat Marco Beltran, Jarrett Brooks by split decision, Joseph Morales, John Moragan, and he lost to Formiga, a decision. And then he beat Pantoja, great win. Tim Elliott, never easy. Then he beat Joseph Benavidez. Now, that's a fight where he missed weight. You got to keep that in mind. Beat Joseph Benavidez in the second fight, and it was even worse. Joseph Benavidez woke up. It's kind of scary. Alex Perez, he beat in the first round. And then the draw with Brandon Moreno and the loss to Brandon Moreno. This fight is going to be bonkers. Wait, let's go over Moreno's real quick, too. Moreno hadn't lost since Pantoja. He lost back-to-back against Sergio Pettis and Alexandro Pantoja. Had some grappling bouts in combat jiu-jitsu in 2019. Actually, all 3 of them were on the same day. Then Michel Pereira, after he got cut. I forgot he got cut. Comes back, split draw with Askar Askarov. Great fight. Kai Kara France, he won, decision. Jussier Formiga, win. Brandon Royval, knockout from a shoulder injury, but it's a knockout nonetheless. Then the draw and win with Deiveson Figueiredo. So, how does this fight go down? I think this all hinges on the weight cut of Deiveson Figueiredo, okay? Remember, he missed weight against Joseph Benavidez, and the second time he made weight. He made weight against Perez, and then he made weight against Moreno. But these weight cuts can't be easy. He's talked about moving up before, okay? I think this weight cut's going to hurt Deiveson Figueiredo. And I think that's going to happen again in this fight. The Assassin Baby, I think he's got all the skills to win this fight. That said, the first fight with Figueiredo was much closer than the second. So we really don't know what happened with Figueiredo in that camp, why he fought so different, because he was a lot more reserved in that fight. Maybe he wanted to save, gas or whatever. I don't know. It's a great fight, though. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going with Brandon Moreno. Michel Pereira and Andre Fialho. I got an interview coming tomorrow with Andre Fialho. It's real good. Number 1 welterweight in the United States. 3 knockouts in a row in UAE Warriors. And he's a beast. He's got some power, man. This dude's real good. So his last 4 have been wins by knockout. But The fourth one is a left hook knockout in round 2 of James Vick. So that's a quality win right there. As much as we like garbage on James Vick, he's got a loss to Chris Curtis in PFL. I think that was Curtis's first PFL fight. So this guy's fought some tough people. Like, Curtis is good. Vick is good. Sorry, I'm yawning. Goodness. Then he comes in UAE. Sang Hunyo, Lincoln Puig, and Stefan Cilic. 3 good fights. First round knockout 3 times. He's fighting Michel Pereira, the madman. So, Pereira, we know him as the high-flying, flippy guy. Then he got humbled by Tristan Connolly because he can't wrestle. Then he lost to Diego Sanchez because of the illegal knee. But then he comes back and he gets really good wins, like very good. He's obviously taking the time to show that, hey, I'm not here to be wild and crazy anymore. So he goes and beats Zalem Imadaev. That's the one where he was slapping the dude around because the dude slapped him at weigh-ins or something. Then he beats Chaos Williams in a very reserved fight. Beats Nico Price. Yeah, I like that. Then he was supposed to fight Andre Fialho, and that didn't happen. Oh, wait, no, it was Muslim Salikov, and then Andre Fialho. So now we got him. That's a good fight. I'm looking forward to that. I think Pereira should win that, but I'm pulling for Andre. I hope he wins it. That'd be an awesome win for him. Cody Stamann and Said Nurmagomedov. Said with that famous last name. Got a loss to Raoni Barcelos and Magomed Biblatov, who is really good. That's an ACA guy. Back in 2014. His comeback wins over Anderson Dos Santos, beat Justin Scoggins in his UFC debut, and Ricardo Ramos. Lost to Barcelos and Stragle he beat in his last fight in October. Good win. I really wish we could have saw him fight Jack Shore. That would have been fun. The prelims, though, have the 3 prospects I like. 4 even, maybe, if you want to be honest. Ilia Topuria, that's one guy. If you don't know about him, that's a Georgian guy, 11-0. He's a Brave product. Fighting Charles Jourdain. So Topuria comes in as this grappler guy, but he has hands, right? He's fought in Max events, Cage Warriors. He fought with, and one with a Anaconda. That's a card I watched. I didn't know I saw Topuria on that. I have to go back and watch that one. Then he goes fights 2 fights in Brave. Now, if you see somebody come out of Brave, assume they're good, okay? Khamzat came out of Brave. This guy came out of Brave. So his UFC debut is against Moroccan kickboxer Youssef Zalal, and he comes out there and wins. Sends Zalal off packing, right? I don't think Zalal's fought since he left the UFC, actually. Nope, he lost to Woodson, Seungwoo Choi, and Topuria. Close fights. Stephen Goncalves, knockout. That was before I was in Brave, I'm sorry. Then he had the Damon Jackson knockout, and then he beat the daylights out of Ryan Hall. Now he's fighting Charles Jourdain. He was supposed to fight Movsar Evloev, which is a fantastic fight, but we won't get that. He's fighting Jourdain. That should be a pretty easy walkover win for Topuria, to be honest with you. Raoni Barcelos is fighting Victor Henry, making his debut. I'm a big fan of Barcelos, even though he lost to Timur Valiev because he's pretty much aged out of competition. He's got to win over the solid Saeed. He's got to win over Kurt Halabo from My Louisiana. That was his UFC debut in 2018. Dude's fought in RFA. He's really just a good fighter, man. He's incredible jiu-jitsu player that has hands. He's one of these new breeds that's just all over the place. And like nobody wants to fight him. He was supposed to fight Merab Dvalishvili in 2020, and they said he couldn't because he just fought Taha a month prior, and he was still under medical suspension, which sucked. Supposed to fight a Sun Sal. Sun Sal withdrew, so he fought Timur Valiev. That sucks, but okay. Victor Henry was booked to fight him. COVID. Trevin Jones, COVID, and then the bout was rescheduled again with Victor Henry, and here we are again. 4th time is a charm. Barcelos wins that. Michael Morales, Trevin Giles. It's a fun fight. Jack Della, the Aussie guy. Is that Aussie? Yeah, the Aussie guy. I can't tell the difference between the Australian and the New Zealand flag. I'm an idiot. Contender Series, he looked real good. So this is his debut, and I like Jack Della too. That's another guy to watch. Matt Favola fighting Gerardo Valdez. This is probably Matt Favola fighting for his job, honestly. He's lost 2 to Arman Tarsukin and Terrence McKinney. That 7-second knockout. That really stinks. I hope he can come back and get a win. He's fighting a guy who's 10-0 that I haven't heard of, but he's number 8 in Mexico, which I don't know what that means. He's got wins over guys that are like 9-1, 6-4, 8-3, 1-2, 4-0. He's decent record. I don't know. That should be a winnable fight for Steamroller. And opening up the prelims, Jasmine Jasudivicius versus Kay Hansen, a women's fight. But I like Jasmine. She's cool. She's been on the show before. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for listening. I've got an interview I'm doing Friday with Ocho Peterson. He's coming on the show. So be on the lookout for that. And also, Sunday we'll be talking post-fight UFC 270. Good God, if we've done 270 Vegas events, we got a problem. Anyways, guys, again, get to Patreon. You want to be a boy. If you want to shoot me an email, blaine@fight-library.com. Ask a question. Send a comment. Tell me you love me. Yeah, so I'm out. Oh, yeah, Twitter, Blaine Henry TFL. Follow me. Later, guys. Peace.